for us to go. We entered the farmer's market one last time to say our goodbyes. Nina wished us much confidence in our new journey ahead as we disappeared through the mist, but this time to a new land. To be continued in Book 3, Finding Purpose. Welcome to XJW Night Talk. Someone said we should change our name. I agree. Yes, we have a very interesting topic tonight. What you must know, this is regarding the governing body update. We're going to cover that thoroughly. And before we do that, I'm going to clear my voice. That Braveheart took the wind out of me. So we do need volunteers. You know, that's what this is about. This is a push. All the hard work that everyone is doing out there is paying off. Don't let up. This is not the time to let up. The few things, you can wear pants and not wear a jacket and a tie. These are BS little minute things. They're evading the bigger issue. The bigger issue is the payouts, the I'm sorry. That's the bigger issue. Shunning, the damage. They're hardly touching the surface. So you can talk. You can now greet a disfellowshipped person for 2 seconds at the meeting. Whoopee-doo. You still can't visit with them at home after the meeting. You can't invite them for dinner. They're still ostracized. And what about pushing them until they do speak out online? And now they're the devil. Now they're the devil. They could be very religious. There's a lot of good people out there. I think, just to name a few, Mark Martin, Brian Pickett, those guys are studious. They know the Bible. They're trying to help people. But yet, because they speak out, they're classified as the devil. You see, the devil's the one pointing the fingers. This is what usually happens. The ones that are guilty point the fingers. So the ones that are deceiving people, hiding over things, trying to hush things up, trying to push in this change, trying to sneak this in. We're going to cover this from Lester's point of view. But so first of all, I want to say hi to everyone online. Thanks for being with us. It's some great information here. We're going to cover it from Avoid JW. They do an excellent job. K-Fred, hello. Thanks for being with us. Jen, thanks for being on today. Brandy Bear, sorry about that. And Leopold, So, hello, nice to have you with us. Carol, Riley. I always get your name wrong. Thanks. Scotland, maybe? Okay. And Anne Greth Ryan from Norway. Thanks for being with us. And then we're going to go down to Ellie Sambrook. Hello. And we have Andy 234 and ST Copilot. Welcome to the show. And Knocker, Soft Knocker. Welcome to the show. Like that name. Okay, we're going to move on here. There's some great information here. And I want to talk about in the bottom, in the descriptions of all our videos after the show. If it's not there now, I'll put it in shortly after the show. But there'll be a Discord, a fresh Discord link. And Discord is a community. It's an online community. It's by invite. So these links only last for 7 days. So if you're viewing this email or this video after 7 days, the link's probably expired. But you can email us and we'll send you a new one, or just anywhere in any of the comments, we'll flag it and we'll put in a new link for you. So we do have a new link. We try to get that out on all our videos. So if this video's expired, just go to our most recent video and you go into the description. There will be a Discord link and it's an invite into the community. And in that community, you can meet up with all kinds of XJWs around the world. Don't worry about language. There's language bots, they call them. And these language bots will do the communication. If you're really upset at something, you put your comments in on YouTube and YouTube blocks them. You know how that goes. Come into our Discord community. There's no blockage. It's a private community. And there's what they call a venting room. So you can go into that venting room and, viewers beware, you might see a few swear words and stuff, but that's what venting is. I don't know what the rules are in the venting room. So there's even some very experienced people with counseling behind them and so forth. So the Discord community is a good place to go. Now, also another good place to go is xjwfriends.com. xjwfriends.com. It allows you a platform. It's run by Joe and Fran. And Joe and Fran are helping people meet up all over. They're actually out on a tour right now. And tune in Wednesday night and you'll see where they're at. So they're going to show us on their live Wednesday night at 5 p.m. our time. Okay, the next thing I wanted to bring attention to is this. Letters for Change. I think that's a great idea. I think we keep up with it. There's been some people asking, well, since they're changing disfellowshipping, no, this is great. Doesn't matter what they're changing. They're just making little changes. These are little tiny changes. They're missing the big picture, the sorry. I am sorry. That's a big picture. That one has to come. What about the blood issue? That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Thousands of people die every year. That has to stop. Calling us apostates the devil. That has to stop. And then we'll quit calling them the devil. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Shunning. What about all the damage thus far? There's class actions that have to happen in every country for all the shunning payouts. It might not be big payouts, but there's got to be something. There's got to be a slap on the wrist. This has to make a mark on humanity so that this kind of religious structures, they're not allowed. The governments have to know that. So that's what we're going to talk about, folks. We're going to talk about what's happening in this religion and why it's happening. And we're going to look at it from Lester's point of view. He wrote this article. So for those of you that don't know who Lester is, Lester Somra, we'll see him at the at the bottom of the article. The photo collage is by Daniel Torridon. Avoid JW is a platform that a few people write their articles on, and some of the good writers out there. It's like an XJW writing committee. You know, Watchtower has this writing committee. Well, all these people that have, these honest-hearted people that have left the Watchtower. You see, the Watchtower does not facilitate a program within itself for honest-hearted ones to say, hey, you know, I disagree with this. You see, any good corporation has a question box. You know, you could have questions about things, and you can throw your questions into the question box, and it goes up, and these questions are read off at meetings that they have, and they're taken serious. So what happens in jw.org is if you raise any kind of a question, you're going to be shunned, disfellowshipped, kicked out, and this is what's happened all over the world. And so we have places like Avoid JW, that these are all scholarly individuals that were once within the organization that had a few questions. Perhaps they were ones that had questions about beards, about wearing slacks, about all these stupid little things they're allowing now that should have been allowed years ago. These ones had questions about it, and they got ousted. They're not going back. They're not going back just because they took their advice 10 years later or 20 years later. They're not going back. You know, here's the situation we're in, folks. We have this religion that has been breaking the speed limits, been breaking the rules, and causing casualties for many years. No one's been questioning this religion. And when it gets questioned, it hides underneath, oh, well, we're under this insurance blanket called clergy privilege. You can't question us. We're under this assurance policy. You know, the Catholics get it too. We want that too. So this is what's going on, folks. So there's this religion that's out of control. Well, and now this little assurance program is not working. Ex-members are actually bringing to light what they're hiding. You know, it says that in the Bible, everything that's hidden will be brought to light. So that's what's taken place. God is working through, if we're to assume that the Bible is intact and the Holy Spirit's working through it, it's God's word, then I'm led to believe that God is using these ex-members to expose what is hidden. And it's happening. So now we see this religion that's been breaking the speed limits, all kinds of casualties. Now it's finally in court. It's been hiding and dodging court for decades and decades under this assurance policy, clergy privilege. Most Jehovah's Witnesses do not know that their leaders are in court fighting for this clergy privilege that the Catholic priests have. And they're trying to make all the ministers in the religion, which would include children that are ministers, they can hide under this clergy privilege, especially the elders, is what they're really making it all about. Okay, well, let's roll ahead on this picture, the good picture they did. You notice the beard and the suit, the tie really fits into Norway's tie, or Norway's flag. You notice that? He's wearing Norway's flag around his neck. Like, talk about kissing butt. This guy wants to kiss butt. That's what he's doing. I don't think Norway's going to buy it. Governing body member Mark Sanderson sending a subliminal kiss butt message with a tie that has the colors of Norway's flag. Now, kiss butt was my thing. That's not in there. These guys don't use English like that. They're pretty correct in their English. Us apostates online, we say a few more things. Okay, let's look at this. Jehovah's Witnesses, ravenous wolves in sheep's clothing. I would agree. Let's go up and take a look. There's your wolf in a sheep's cloth. Yeah, there he is. You want to see what he looked like a few days ago? I'll show you what he looks like a few days ago. Here it is.
Set free from what?
Set free from what?
Paul says
From
the slavery
to the fear
of death.
of death.
Now, why is that
Now,
significant?
why is that significant?
You see, people who are in fear of death are constantly
afraid.
And as a result, they
And
can
as a
be
result, they can be
manipulated
and controlled.
Set free from what?
Set free from what?
Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, he was talking about being manipulated and controlled by fear. He knows the game. He knows the game they've been playing. And that's the guy behind the mask. He knows all about fear, how to manipulate, control. But you know what? It's not working. It's not working in Norway. And these guys know it's not going to work. It's going to continue to domino. And that's why these little dinky changes are bringing in. They're not real changes. We're waiting for some real changes, and they may come, but that's only if you and I put the pressure on, get these letters going out to all of your MPs and members of parliament. There's going to be letters on here for Spanish and stuff. She's working on them, I heard. So that's coming. Okay. On March 15th, 2024, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses released the 2024 governing body update. Most of you have seen that. It's been played all across the XJWs. I think the XJWs know about this change before the JWs know about it. But anyways, the update number 2, in which Jehovah demonstrates that he desires all to attain to repentance and adjustments to our standards of dress at the theocratic events. This, how do you stomach this without laughing? Like, in which Jehovah demonstrates that he desires all to repentance and adjustments to our standards. Okay, let's carry on. It's going to be a fun one. Following the release of update number 2, a lot of former Jehovah's Witnesses who were disfellowshipped and shunned were contacted by their family and friends who are active Jehovah's Witnesses. And some received, "I love you" messages and an invite, "Come on to the 2024 memorial on Saturday 24th. We can say hi to you at the meeting. We can give you a hug. We'll ask the elders. Maybe we can give you a hug." I don't know. Would they allow that? We'll look at the video again and see what we're allowed to do. You know, this is ridiculous, folks. Okay. So they're coming, everyone's inviting all these disfellowship family members to the memorial and to the special talk, all in a desperate bid to have the disfellowship person rejoin the Jehovah's Witness community that has rejected them for years, and in some cases, decades. I know some that have been, I came in when I was 18 years old. I was in for 30 years. I know one guy, family member, who started smoking, drifted away, started smoking, and then years and years later, they disfellowshipped him, brought him back up. Like after that many years, like he drifted away. Leave the guy alone. Let him smoke in his garage. His wife was still a JW, but they had to disfellowship him. They had to announce it, and as a result, he lost all of his relationships with his grandchildren. You know, I don't know if he's even alive. You know, it's that long ago. I think he's still alive. He's probably like in his 80s now. Still today in his 80s, he'd get to talk to his grandchildren if he went to the meeting. 80s, is he in his 80s? 70s, he's in his 70s. Okay. Following the release of update number 2, a lot of witnesses who were the JWs are phoning everyone up. Come on to the memorial so we can talk to you. What a catch tag. Like this is like throwing a hook out with some bait on it, like with a worm on it. You know, they've been throwing out the hook every year. A few people come to the memorial, right? Disfellowshipped ones. But who wants to go to a damn memorial when you can't talk to anybody? You're disfellowshipped, right? Be nice if you could go and talk to someone. So here's the worm. They threw it out. So below is a brief summary of the update, followed by some advice from the editor. Okay, well, we're looking to see what What's his name? Lester Somra. Yeah, let's see what Lester has to say. Well, if you're a reader who has never been one of Jehovah's Witnesses and are not familiar with their beliefs and practices, he says, please see the article here, the convention Saturday afternoon review for a comprehensive definition of shunning. So these are links. You can just open the links in a new tab and you get right to that. We're probably not going to have time to go over that. This has been covered a lot, but if you're new to this, I will link this in the description below so you can retrieve it quickly. Okay, here it is. The changes. Disfellowshipped persons. A committee of elders will correct and instruct a wrongdoer with the goal of leading him to repentance. As outlined at 1 Corinthians 5 and 13, a person who refuses to repent must be removed from the congregation. However, the committee will still try to help him see the need to repent and return, and will arrange for follow-up meetings in a few months. 2 John 9-11, which we learned applies specifically to apostates and any others who actively promote wrong conduct, not to all those who have been removed from the congregation. So, is there any really changes there? I thought they were supposed to do that every year anyways, come around and kind of help people. They kind of quit doing that. Like back in the 80s, they used to do that, or they were supposed to. And they did it to this one guy. I gave you the example, the smoker. They studied with him for 6 months, and then they announced him at the meeting. He's disfellowshipped. He's an unrepentant wrongdoer for smoking. Like he's the nicest guy in the world, helps all kinds of people, law-abiding, good job. It's a cult. As if he wants to go back, like it's ridiculous. Okay, the changes to dress code. So a committee of elders will correct him. It's about trying to get into the guy's life again. If you're a disfellowship, be careful. This is the same thing. This is the same trick they pulled in the 80s. I've seen it. You see, a lot of people haven't been around that long. So the organization, they run these programs every so many years. 1975, that's why it was in the 80s. You see 75, Stay Alive Till 75, they're losing everyone left and right. They had to get a program in. They had problems, big problems back then, apostate problems. Now, the changes, dress code for religious activities and events. Sisters may choose to wear slacks when participating in the ministry and when attending Christian meetings, assemblies, and conventions. If a sister chooses to wear slacks on such occasions, they should not be casual, but dignified, modest, and appropriate. As if, right? So no jeans, sisters, no tight pants, probably. They're going to be looking. My mom would have appreciated that. She wouldn't go to a meeting because you had to go buy a dress, and she had lots of slacks. And she said, "The hell if I'm going to buy a dress." So she'd never ever come to any of the meetings. My mom, she wasn't a JW, anyways. Okay, brothers may choose not to wear a tie or jacket when participating in the ministry, when attending meetings, assemblies, and conventions. And if a brother chooses not to wear a tie or jacket on such occasions, he should dress in a manner that is appropriate, modest, and dignified, not casual. So what does that look like? Casual. Not casual, dignified. Dignified, manly dress. Let's see what comes up. Dignified, manly dress. That's what it says. Like if I was gonna look, I'd be looking at Google. Here's this guy's pretty dignified. That's kind of a cool outfit. What about this guy here? You see where my cursor is here? I can blow this up. Like that's what are they gonna say? You see, I think what they want the brothers to do is they want the brothers to have a matching jacket and tie stuck somewhere, and I think they kind of want They kind of want them to have the dress pants slacks like from the suit, except you don't have to wear your jacket. It should be in your car. Or they're going to probably say, you should have it at least hanging in the vestibule. So if some brother doesn't show up for a talk, you can run back and put your tie and your jacket on, and you're all matching. That's probably going to be the rules you're going to make for the brothers. You see, elders like making rules, right? And if I was a brother, I'd say, where does it say in the rule book that I'm supposed to bring my jacket and hang it in the vestibule? Because no one wants to be put up there for a last minute talk, right? And there's probably a lot of last minute talks happening in this organization. There was when I was in it, so I could just imagine now people not showing up. So brothers may choose not to wear it. But when they're doing a talk, they have to wear it. When sister has a part on a program, she should wear a skirt or a dress if that is a standard in that land. A skirt or a dress, if that is a stand. Well, who sets the standard in the land now? That's kind of an open-ended question, direction, I think. So if we go to Africa or some of these other countries, they don't wear skirts. I don't know what the standard is. Like that's open-ended, I guess. Maybe they want it that way. When a brother has a part in a program, he should wear a tie and jacket if that is a standard dress. You see, what I would do as a brother is never bring your tie or your jacket if you don't have a part on the program. Because what's going to happen, someone's not going to show up and the brother's going to ask you, do you have your tie and jacket? And you can honestly say, no, I don't have one. And he says, well, I'll let you wear mine. He said, no, that's unclean and I don't want to. And I don't want to give the part. So it just gives you an out, I'm saying. Okay. Adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing in the congregation. Okay. What are these adjustments? An unrepentant wrongdoer must be removed from the congregation. If the individual is not an apostate or actively promoting wrongdoing, they will also inform him that they would like to meet with him again in 3 months. Because if you're the apostate, you're the devil, right? To meet with him again in 3 months to determine if he has had a change of heart. Because maybe they think that there's a chance they can get him. Apostates they've given up on, it's a waste of their time. Makes sense. And in some cases, but not all, the committee may determine that there is a basis for reinstating the individual at that time. On the other hand, if he has not had a change of heart or if additional time is needed, see a special caution in paragraph 16. The elders will endeavor to reach out to him every 6 months if he's agreeable, unless he requests reinstatement before that time. So that's what's happening. They're going to pester the disfellowship people until they get them reinstated. They can get them back to the meeting 3 times, they'll reinstate them. They're going to make it easy to get reinstated. They need to bump the numbers up, guys. Because let's face it, a lot of these people that were disfellowshipped, let's say they were disfellowshipped for fornication, okay? And yeah, you got a young brother, maybe he was in his 20s, going through the prime of life, couldn't do it, couldn't live in Bethel and be, because I think when you sign into Bethel, they don't want you getting married, maybe they do. Anyways, maybe he committed fornication, got DF'd 20 years later. Well, he got DF'd for fornication, got married, raised a family outside of the religion. Disfellowshipped. He's like evil, right? 20 years goes by. All the relatives inside can now kind of associate with him. If he comes to 3 meetings, like he's not doing anything wrong. He's married. He's been married for 20 years, still disfellowshipped. They're trying to make it easy to get those kinds of persons back in. And if they can just get them back in, just get a couple studies going with them. Hopefully they didn't corrupt their minds with apostates and they don't know the real truth about the truth, about our lies, about the truth. That's what they're thinking. And elders think it's the truth, in quite fairness. Governing body, they know that they're pulling the wool over people's eyes. They're wolves, the governing body. Don't kid yourself ever. These guys are wolves. Adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing in the congregation. An unrepentant wrongdoer must be removed if the individual is not an apostate. So they're gonna harass you every 3 months, 6 months for sure. Says it right here, 6 months. Where did it say that? 6 months right there. They're gonna harass you every 6 months if you're agreeable. You see, be careful if you're disfellowshipped out there, ex-Jehovah's Witness. That's why this is a good warning for all of you that's why Lester did this for all of us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, me included. Don't let your guard down. Like, it's easy for me to think, oh, you know what? My daughter, well, she won't send me because I'm an apostate, but let's say I wasn't. Sends me an email, says, hey, Dad, come to the memorial. I can talk to you. You know, it's kind of inviting, right? Yeah, we've got to be careful, because once you start taking in that indoctrination again, your brain becomes polluted. All that work that you've done to clean your mind, it gets wrecked in one meeting, perhaps. Okay, they're going to come every 6 months and harass you if you're agreeable. So they're going to say, so hey, we'll see you in 6 months, eh? And you're going to say, yeah, we'll see you later. 6 months is a long time. But now they got you on a list, a computer list, and you're logged. And you're almost logged, like they're going to make it look like they're saving you. You're part of the flock. You're kind of the outskirts of the mixed company. They're going to make you feel like that. I know. I've been working with these guys since the 80s. When you get out, you can really see it. I did stuff like this. I was involved in doing this stuff. I know. That's why I'm speaking with conviction. I know how this works. So say, here's what you got to say. Hey, we'll see you in 6 months. Don't even waste your time. And that's it. See you guys. Don't say see you guys, because you don't want to see them. Be careful in your wording. Don't waste your time. I don't want to see you. Take me off your list. Okay. They have no choice. They've gotten into your life. They know you're leading a good life. You're married, you got children and all these things, right? These elders are coming to try to get you back. Your wife doesn't know anything about it, or knows enough about it to know that it's dangerous. But be careful. This is just an invitation. They're trying to get back into people's lives, get members back. Although a repentant individual should be reinstated without delay, you see, and if you have no sins, you're not smoking, you're not doing anything wrong, you just 20 years ago you got disfellowship for fornication, you're now a married man, you have been for 20 years, you have kids, they're going to reinstate you right away. But here's what it says. Although a repentant individual should be reinstated without delay, such sins as child abuse, apostasy, and scheming to end a marriage require special caution. So they're going to look at your situation individually. And then it goes on to say, as explained and demonstrated in 2024 Governing Body Update number 2, if the person attends congregation meetings, a publisher can use his Bible-trained conscience to decide if he will give a simple greeting and welcome the disfellowshipped person to the meeting or not. So, you know how that goes, right? Even though this is the rules, the publishers are going to be there sitting. I'm not going to go and say hi unless an elder does. I'm not going to be the first one. You know, that's just how people are. Even though the rules say you can. And if you have a stern bunch of elders, you know, maybe they won't say hi. Because it says it's a conscientious matter. They're making it conscientious. So a Christian may also choose to invite a disfellowshipped person, perhaps a relative, a former Bible student, or someone he was close to in the past, to attend a congregation meeting. Okay, that's kind of new. Okay. Adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing. Now that's new, right? You know why that's new, this last point? Because publishers could never phone up a disfellowship person and invite him to a meeting. Couldn't do that before. Only an elder could, so that's new. Now, adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing in the congregation involving baptized minors. When a baptized minor becomes involved in serious wrongdoing, excuse me, Shauna, can I get a water, please? When a baptized minor becomes involved in serious wrongdoing, two elders, not a committee, will meet with him along with his Christian parents or legal guardians. The elders will exercise patience as they work with the parents to understand the minor's attitude, and they'll also find out what steps the parents have taken to assist their children. Thanks. Okay. If the minor persists in the wrong course despite the assistance offered by the two elders and his Christian parents or legal guardians, a committee will meet with the minor and his Christian parents or legal guardians. And if the minor is unrepentant, he would be removed from the congregation. So he's still going to be disfellowshipped. They use the word removed. So if the minor is an apostate or is promoting serious wrongdoing, the committee would not meet with the minor and his Christian parents or legal guardians. So, like an apostate, they could make the kid an apostate. If the kid went to school and talked to the school counselor about something about in the congregation, and he started talking to the police at school, he becomes an apostate because he didn't work through the elders. Oh yeah, they will apostatize anything because it gives them a lot of leeway not to have anything to do with the devil. And that's where I think they're gonna have to pay this organization, classifying everyone as the devil, like they have been. So many videos on that. David Splain getting up and explaining how we're all the devil. Let rants about it. They all do, all of them. They're all afraid of the apostates. And the apostates are only people that speak up about something that's wrong with this organization, like wearing pants. Or how many of us have spoken up about beards in the past? There's nothing in the scriptures that say you shouldn't wear a beard. But yet, if you wore a beard or even had a little bit of growth a year ago, you would be looked at as falling out of the truth. Yeah. Okay. Adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing in the congregation. Apostasy. 2 John 9-11 warns us of contaminating influence, saying, if anyone comes to you that does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your homes or say a greeting to him. Who are Christians instructed to? So here's the question. Who are Christians instructed to avoid? Well, the context indicates that this refers to everyone who pushes ahead and does not remain in the teaching, right? Isn't that what it says? And therefore it applies to apostates and those who actively promote wrong conduct. Such ones should not be greeted by individual Christians, visited by elders, or invited to attend Christian meetings. So that's how they align that. Now, really, I don't know if Lester's going to get into this, but really, the governing body is the apostates, you see. So really, we would not want to even eat a meal with the governing body. That, like, I look at this instructions from the Bible, from God, and I look at Jesus as the one that set the example. And we look at the early Christians as we're doing to see how they handled things. Well, the organization, the governing body, they have been apostate for years. With the beard thing, that's apostasy. That was their own rules. They brought that in. The dress, like God does not look at a person's dress, he looks at a person's heart. Dress shouldn't even be considered dignified dress. Just see if you can make it to the meeting in whatever you're wearing. What if a person just has jeans and a shirt? It's not acceptable. You see, there's still dress codes. In God's house, there's no dress code. Now, adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing, apostasy. Yeah, they're the apostates. They're the ones that have the contaminating influence. They're the ones that are telling you to die regarding this ridiculous blood doctrine that they've invented. They're the ones that are telling you to go to prison in Russia regarding their ridiculous arrangement in that country that spells out the rules for operating a religion, and by saying we will go by our rules. You see, Russia just recognized that they're dealing with a cult, and they just take things a little bit more serious than we do here. We dance around these cults. But anyways, the apostasy is the governing body. They're the apostates, and they have been, and they're trying to make themselves look like they're not. Well, this is what narcissists do. When they're doing something, they point their fingers at everyone else and say, they're the apostates. You see, they know their apostasy. They've apostatized from the truth. So what do they do? They point their fingers and at everyone else. So no one looks at them. No one sees them. Well, right now, we're all looking at the governing body and we're seeing it. It's very clear. The handwriting is on the wall, folks. So adjustments to handling serious wrongdoing in the congregations, individuals removed in the past. So individuals who were disfellowshipped as minors but who are now adults can be visited as elders reach out to the disfellowshipped ones. Individuals who are disfellowshipped as minors but who are now adults can be visited as the elders reach out. So they'll treat them. So those ones that were minors, that were disfellowshipped, well, they grow up a few years later. Now they're adults. So now they're just going to treat them like all the other disfellowship ones, visit them every 6 months. They can greet them if they come to a meeting, kind of a thing. If an individual is neither a known apostate nor is actively promoting wrongdoing, the elders may visit them. At such visits, the elders would offer to pray with the disfellowshipped person and make a warm appeal to him to repent and return to the congregation. So if you're not an apostate and you're not actively promoting wrongdoing, you're not smoking would be a big one, or I guess committing an immoral lifestyle or living common law. Maybe you're not married. They would consider that living in sin, I guess. And they will get nosy and they will ask all kinds of questions. Okay, if you allow them in your home, I recommend you don't. Now, individuals who were disfellowshipped as minors are now adults. If an individual is not an apostate, they'll come and visit you. Now, for full details for the above adjustments, please go to the adjustments of handling serious wrongdoing. This is a link. And there's a download here. You can get it. So that'll all be on this article. You'll have all the links once you get it. I did have it open. Let me see what it opens. Ooh, it looks like. Okay, how do you choose to respond can either send a good or a bad message to Jehovah's Witnesses. So here's the adjustments to serious wrongdoing in the congregation. Quite the rule book the elders have. To be an elder, you have to be a litigator. You have to be like a lawyer. You have to just read stuff. Always be reading stuff. There's always changes every month. There's rules, more rules. Like, how do you keep up on this? It's no wonder that some of these guys just lose it. Some of these guys turn into alcoholics. It's hard on these guys that volunteer their time just to help people. And now they have the job of being a lawyer, a litigator. And that's how Judge Rutherford set this religion up. It's set up based on litigation, all the bond volumes, all the letters, all the correspondence. It's a litigation religion. It's not based on the Bible. Okay. How you choose to respond can either send a good or a bad message to Jehovah's Witnesses. So think about that after everything that you've been through as a ex-Jehovah's Witness, and now they're going to be knocking at your door because you're on a list, and tell them to take you off the damn list. Like, who wants to be on their electronic list? Who wants them to be affiliated with this religion? Who wants them to... I don't want this religion counting me as one of their outskirt members. And this is how we got to be careful that we don't end up being on their list. Now, there must be personal accountability and responsibility for shunning. I agree. What about all the damage that's done by the shunning? How's the Watchtower going to reconcile with all of the people out there? All of us. Now, please keep in mind that this rebranding of the Jehovah's Witness religion, it does not change the fact that they still remain classified as a cult, a destructive sect, according to the Bite model. And we're going to look at that. Let's look at that right now because it's in line with this article. So the link is there, so it takes you right to the freedom of mind, the Bite model. Now, if you're not familiar with it, this is a model. I forget the guy's name. It probably shows it here. The Bite model. Hassan. He's a psychologist. Hassan's his last name. Stephen Hassan. Here it is. Stephen Hassan, he developed the Bite model to describe cults. He was in a cult himself. So Bite model stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. And the Bite model should be used within the influence continuum model to help determine authoritarian control. Not every group or relationship uses every one of these, and some are universal, such as deception, that's information control, and indoctrinating people to distrust critics and former members, or installing phobias to make people afraid of questioning or leaving. And that spells Jehovah's Witnesses to the T. So this goes through, we're not going to go through this all today, but this is behavior, information control. You know, so these are all the different categories: thought control, emotion control. And this kind of sums it up: behavior control, regulate individuals' physical reality. That's what Jehovah's Witness religion does. It regulates that reality that they live in. Dictates where, how, and with whom the member lives and associates or isolates. Yeah. So, you know, you can't just go and marry a worldly girl. You're young in the religion. You have to stay within the religion, you know. After a while, there's problems with that. If you get small communities and, you know, all there is your cousins and stuff in the religion, this can cause some blood relationship problems because it's so closed, such a closed community. Okay. When and how with whom the member has sex. They control the types of clothing and hairstyle. Well, we just talked about how you have to wear dignified slacks. You can't just walk in with jeans and a t-shirt to worship God in the, you know, it's control. And then what about all the years that you could have wore slacks? All those poor sisters wearing dresses in the wintertime, freezing their legs off. They could have been wearing leotards, really thick ones with slacks, just like the men do. And but no, all these years, because they're a cult. It's just so clear, guys, so clear. Regulate food, diet. They don't really get into regulating food. Manipulation. Well, they use up your time. You don't get much sleep. They'll exploit your finances. They'll want your will, your estate as you get older. They restrict leisure, entertainment. They do. Major time spent with group indoctrination and rituals or self-indoctrination. So you see, folks, these are a lot of the stuff, it gets, rape, torture, beating, and kidnapping. Mind you, JWs do get kidnapped because they dress so fancy. People think they're rich and they get kidnapped on their way to the assembly. Threaten harm to family and friends. They don't threaten harm, but they encourage to engage in a corporal punishment. That's part of the and then they instill dependency and obedience. That's part of the religion. Rigid rules and regulations. They discourage individualism, and they discourage groupthink. Like you can't, it's all group talk based on the watchtower. So you can't, there's no individualism. So yeah, they fit it. Deception, we go down the list. Okay, well, let's get back to the article. We looked at the bite model really quick. And now we're getting into, regardless of their reasons for this change of heart, it's not from the place of good intentions, as Jehovah's Witness remains a religion that takes your time, energy, and resources and only gives a return a bag of empty promises. That's what they offer. They offer you a fictional story, and it's not a nice one. The fictional story is based on fear. It's based on the destruction of your family and friends out there that don't accept the Jehovah's Witness religion. All of those, it's taught that they will die at Armageddon. So there's that promise, empty promise of fear. Now, behind the facade of a neatly dressed, smiling people who go door to door to win souls, a dark world lies hidden. Anyone who delves into the Jehovah's Witnesses knows that the religious community has very nasty sides. People suffer lifelong trauma from it, abuse, fear, and exclusion among Jehovah's Witnesses, revealing documentary by director from Muslim on Videoland by Daniel. So here's a link to that. Maybe it'll come up. It did. So there's a link to this, Abuse, Fear, and Exclusion Among Jehovah's Witnesses, a revealing documentary by Musil Canal on Videoland. Okay. The fact that your Jehovah's Witness parents and relatives and friends are now reaching out to you, bearing a love message and a 2024 memorial invitation is evident that they value the foolish religious advice of 8 old men in New York more than their relationship with you. And it's also evident that this will not change in the foreseeable future. So, yes, the governing body are the idols of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now that these guys are so visible in all the broadcasts, they're looking forward to seeing them. They're growing a beard. So now you're going to see all the elders growing beards. Mark Sanderson loves to hear his voice. He's an idol. And the Jehovah's Witnesses follow these guys right to their death. Right to their death. So this doesn't look like it's going to change. Now, if you do have access to professional counseling, please discuss the issue with your therapist. And factors that you should seriously weigh and consider when contacted by your family and friends who are active Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as any subsequent response you may choose to make. Now, the list below is by no means exhaustive. The harm and damage shunning caused to you. So these are things to weigh when these guys call you. And these are issues you can talk to your therapist about. Okay, so it's a big list. So the harm and the damage shunning has caused you. and the harm and damage shunning caused to other former Jehovah's Witnesses, the suicides of former Jehovah's Witnesses as a result of shunning. Let's not forget about all of these ones. I think it's in July. There's a remembrance day for a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses that have died as a result of this religion. It's dry here. Okay, the number of families and marriages destroyed by shunning. Think about that. How many families are tore apart? Just about everyone, lots of them. Now, what you have learned about Jehovah's Witnesses after you were disfellowshipped, don't forget about that. And the treatment given to you by Jehovah's Witnesses after you were disfellowshipped, you're treated like the devil. The treatment given to other former Jehovah's Witnesses by active Jehovah's Witnesses after they were disfellowshipped. Think about all that. I do. I remember a lot of people over the years that were disfellowshipped, and the treatment and the effect of shunning on your mental health and what this does to us. We're supposed to love people, but then we're supposed to detest people, certain people that were once in the congregation sitting by us. And we don't really know what they did, but one day they just announced their name. Said they're no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So now they're disfellowshipped publicly. It's publicly announced. And then you might phone your relative that lives halfway across the world and say, did you know that so-and-so? And it just spreads like wildfire, this disfellowshipping. It's just destructive. It's dishonoring to a person. It destroys their self amongst all their peers, their family, friends. We don't want to forget about that. The treatment given, the effect of shunning on our mental health. As a result of mental health issues created by shunning, Jehovah's Witnesses never lent a helping hand once for professional counseling. No. In fact, they'll go to court and they'll fight this tooth and nail that they're not responsible. Now, I want to show you how they get their method for getting out. We're just going to hold it there. And here's what they say. Here's what they say. And this is what they just told us.
And also, the governing body is neither inspired nor infallible. And so it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction. Well, knowing this, then we are not embarrassed about adjustments that are made, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right previously. We understand this is how Jehovah operates. He reveals matters gradually when it is needed.
So that's her get out of jail free card. They don't care. They don't feel they need to apologize. They don't care about all the problems that shunning created. It doesn't matter to these guys. You see, this guy is just running a business. He's part of a group of men that are just running this business, and they're not going to take any responsibility because they don't care. Remember, they're wolves in sheep's covering. They don't care. A real person that is a Christian and that's following Jesus would care. Be looking after the orphans and the widows, all the lowly ones in the organization, but these guys don't care. So it doesn't matter all of your, the only way to get your counseling money back is you'd have to sue them, and cost you more money to sue them than it's worth. The only way to do it, again, I go back to collectively the Letters for Change, and I'll have the link is in all of our videos now. Letters for Change. It's lettersforchange.info, and we get our letter into our MP, our member of Parliament, and we describe to him what we're experiencing. We put our own personal story in there, but it's all, the letter's really well done. I sent mine in, already got an automatic reply back. And that was just Friday I sent mine in. So this is all new. And it's we keep the pressure going, folks. We let our MPs know what the damage is. No use letting Jehovah's Witnesses know. because they deny it all. And there's no use writing a letter to the governing body because they're narcissists. They're running a business. And they just told us on their 2023 meeting, there's no apology coming. It's not necessary. So this tells you and I that this is not an organization run by God. In fact, he even said that we're not inspired. What a thing to tell the flock. You see, the handwriting's on the wall, folks. This is a time to get out, to not be affiliated with Babylon the Great, because she's falling. She's falling. And I think it might be falling faster than we think. Now, the availability and affordability for professional counseling varies according to country and circumstances of each witness. So professional counseling is expensive, it's necessary. And I think we got to push for this, folks. And this is how we push our MPs, our members of parliament, and on a massive scale. There has to be a help program for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, I think. Now, no apology was given in the governing body update for the damage caused by shunning, and Jehovah's Witnesses still infringe on the individual rights and freedoms of their members, penalizing those who use their freedom of speech to criticize their religious beliefs and practices. So did you get that? Norway, for example, they're playing the poor me card that we're being penalized for our freedom of speech. And they're criticizing the apostates, the ones that are just speaking out, the victims. You see, the victims become apostates because as soon as a victim speaks out, they're an apostate. They just told their story. They're a victim. But no, they're an apostate to them, to JW org. So you see how backwards this is, folks? There's no consolation, no humility, and no forgiveness. So that should tell us clearly that this is not God's organization. Jehovah's Witnesses still infringe on the individual rights of their members. They can still be shunned. And Jehovah's Witnesses still infringe on the individual rights of freedoms of a child, baptized minors, as they still can be shunned. Relationship is not something to be switched on and off like some light bulb. And the damage done by shunning is lasting and permanent. Nothing can bring back the lost time or reverse the damage caused. And that's what we got to hang on to, folks. Nothing can change that. The damage is done and it's part of our life. We have to just endure it. We have to get through it. And I think we have to speak out. Now is the time to speak out. So the Witnesses are a desperate organization that will keep changing its apologies to dodge the legal consequences of court cases and frantically hold on to its members during changing times. So this is all because of this Norway. This is a big part of it, I think, the court case in Norway. And they know it's going to be a domino effect. So this is not the first or the last step. They've been changing policies forever, this organization. But these are some big ones in the time that we're living in here, all in one period of time. And what should this tell everyone? Well, I heard one illustration that was good. It's like a frog in hot water. If you put the frog in the water and then turn the burner on, and it slowly, you'll cook the frog because he doesn't recognize the change in temperature. But if the water's already hot, you throw the frog in, the frog will hop out. And what JW org has done is they made their waters hot and muddy. And so a lot of the frogs are jumping out. People are jumping out of that religion. And if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. You're making the right choice. So they're trying to bring these to bring members back in. They're not growing it. They're not getting Bible studies. How are you going to get Bible studies in the street when you plug in JW org into the internet? You're not going to get Bible studies. So they're trying to get some of the ones that are disfellowshipped, that are hanging, maybe they go to the memorial once a year. They're trying to get them back in, get their numbers up, get the money back flowing. Jehovah's Witnesses will continue to try to make it more comfortable place for people to stay in their religious community. In short, they will do what they must. They will do what they have to, and use this time as a great time to practice responding to it from a place of strength. Also use it to see where you may still need to heal. So this is just a ploy. They don't want to lose everyone. They got to do something, right? And there's rumor that they have consultants, outside consultants. You know, they admitted that they're not inspired. Jeffrey Winder said that. He speaks for the whole group of them. So that's why they have to go to outside consultants, I would assume. You know, they go to worldly lawyers. Their own lawyer lies in court, so he's lost his credibility. So now they're going to worldly lawyers, paying big bucks. Just think of it, that $20 you put into the contribution box will go to pay some lawyer. Jehovah's Witnesses will continue to try to make it a more comfortable place. We only have so much time in our lives. The JWs already took so much of it from all of us. And why would we give them any more of that time back? That's my question. That's Lester put that in here. We only have so much bandwidth, which we use to attain our dreams. Don't waste it on Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, that's why we see every day, we lose subscribers. We all do. But we say that's because people are graduating. People are graduating out of the XJW community, and they're getting out there. They figure out they have new purpose. And all we can do to the people that no longer subscribe to us, here's what we give them. We look on, and sometimes we lose subscribers. We give them this. We give you a big applaud. And that's what this is all about, folks. It's not forever. Time is limited. Use the community to untwist your mind, settle it, but put a do not call sticker on your door. I recommend that. We built some do not call stickers. Where are they? I have them here somewhere. Stickers. Here they are. I'll see what comes up. Here we go. Uh-oh. Gotta put it on this screen. There. Okay, so these are do not call stickers. You can make them up yourself. I don't know if we at one time we had them available, but you can make them up yourself. Joe and Fran made some. They have a bunch. But if you put these do not call stickers on your door, then they won't bug you. Because right now they're on a campaign. If you've been affiliated with the religion, they're going to be at your door. They're coming for you. And they think they have the program that's going to win you over. They're going to get you back. They're excited about this program that they have. So now I wanted to, before we finish up on this article, we want to give Lester a big applaud for writing the. And if you don't know Lester, in this article, you can read more from him. He's a good writer. And I think this pulls up a whole page on him. Lester Somra, it gives a whole big thing on him. He's a really good writer. He's been around the community for a lot of years writing. Like I say, folks, this community has a writing committee. You know, people think Jehovah's Witnesses have a writing committee. This community has a writing committee, and there's Miss Usato is another good writer that we find on Avoid JW, and so I don't know if they take donations. They probably do. If you want to donate to the website, you can. You'll have to figure out. Just go there, and you can peruse it and figure that out. But there's certainly a haven for us apostates. I don't even worry about what I'm going to say. I just look at Avoid JW, And the program's already built for me. It's like going to jw.org. Well, this is going to xjw.org kind of a thing. Avoidjw.org is what it is. Avoidjw.org. And we have everything. You have all the elders' books there. Everything is there. And they follow closely the writers. There's so many people in this community vested into justice. We've been lied to. We've been all lied to for all these years. So there's so many people vested into the justice of bringing to light that which has been hidden. And folks, what we see happening is we're living in that time where this revealing, this great revealing is taking place. And what's making it possible is the internet. There's a lot more we can see on the internet. There's stories being shared all over the world. There's the political elements. The Crown prosecutors can now get to know the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, the victims, the real victims of the religion. And these are the ones that are beaten down that Jesus talked about, when he comes back, and this wicked slave has beaten down these ones. And Jesus is going to deal with it, And perhaps what we see, and we know that the Bible does say in Romans, is it not Romans 13:1? Something like that, where it says, be obedient to the governing authority, the governments, the authorities, for they'll do a lot of good work. So you're obedient to them, they have traffic rules. And, we want to make sure that people are obeying the traffic laws because our lives depend on it, right? So we depend on the authorities that we live in. We hope they're forceful enough that people are going to obey the traffic rules. And the same is true with the rules on how people are looked at, humanitarian rights, discrimination, slandering people. Those ways are all of the past. So if a religious organization thinks that they can squeak this in, they're a cult. They're no longer a religious organization. And all over the earth, we're just going to disqualify them. We're the people, you and I. So in this video, we have in our descriptions, we have a link to the Canadian petition. We have a petition here in Canada to help us bring this forth to the Parliament. And so we've already put our petition forth to our local MP here that we emailed just the other day. And we're going to wait and see what happens on that. And see if we can get this, now that there's over 1,000 people that have signed it, and probably all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, because that's the only place we've advertised this. But anybody can sign it, any Canadian that agrees with the decision on there. And it's simply the same as Norway, that we're not going to tolerate religions coming in and acting like cults and taking advantage of all our charity money and not helping anybody, and causing all kinds of problems for the medical system. The medical systems out there now have to look after all the damages from the inflicted ones and the victims of the religion. They come out all torn, war-torn in their heads and minds, disturbed. Within Jehovah's Witnesses, you're 5 times more likely to have schizophrenia than just being outside of the religion. Why? Well, it's because of all these fictitious pictures that they put into our heads, and we believe that they're true, about our family and relatives dying at Armageddon, and about how the devil is in all of these apostates. The devil's in them. You see, and it causes turmoil within our psyche, and we live in an accelerated adrenaline kind of a situation where we're always in a flight or a fight mode. And that's what it's like being a Jehovah's Witness. It takes years to get this kind of trauma outside of us. And we're just starting to talk about it openly online. And governments are talking about it, and psychologists are talking about it. So there's a lot happening right now. This is on the news, and I think now is the time that we keep putting the pressure on. So we're going to say hi to everyone, and then we're going to close the showdown. I think it was a good little video, and I think it'll help a lot out there to take a close look at this when they start calling you ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, so let's say hi to everyone. Any points we want to talk about? Same old, eh? San Diego Pimo, hello. You can listen at work now. That's great. We have Alan Braza. Yeah, they're a bunch of liars, the GBs. I agree with you. We must show this to the courts. Well, that's what we're doing. We're taking this and we're sending it out to the MPs. So again, if you came on late, letters for change.info. You can make your own letter. You can locate your rep. That's the nice thing. If you're in the US, you just hit this and you put in your zip code here, right here, and it finds your, you guys don't see this. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, letters for change. You just go to letters for change. You locate your rep, and then when you click that, you put in your zip code, and it gets you to your rep. And the letters are already made. You just go into letters, advocacy letters. There's a sample one for Canada, the US. You just copy and paste it. It's really quite simple. So for any of you that missed that part, we're going to keep pushing that letter thing. I think it's brilliant idea. And the more of us that get our voices out, the more we're going to see more changes in this scary little religion, especially if they want to keep their charity status. It's like leaving an abusive partner and years go by and they call you to invite you to dinner, isn't it? That's exactly well put, Corey Scott. Well put. It's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah, you got to see Nate's Beehive video. That was amazing. If that was Nate there, he was bare arms sticking his hand in there for a while. Then he put on something. Okay, Corey, it's like leaving an abusive partner. Yeah, and then they invite you to dinner. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Beehive videos from a salt storage building owned by the township. Okay, great. Guys, got to go watch that video. Bees, and I was amazed they didn't just try to kill the bees. They just smoked them, saved the bees. Bees are protected. Like, we're losing our bees. Alberta is a big bee province, where they make a lot of honey here. And they've had problems with bees, losing them. Jeannie 93, my DF child called crying and invited her to the memorial. Why must active witnesses only act when the GB says it's okay? Only one family member when a family on both sides are JWs. So the child called crying. Yeah. Well, and then that's the point. They only act on the when the GB says to act. So we know it's a cult. That's idol worship, right? People are not acting out of kindness, out of love. Like, love should be instinctive. A member's lonely. Put aside the disfellowshipping and all of those things. If someone needs help, act out of love and do something with it. We don't have to wait for a man to tell us when it's okay or not. That's idol worship. Idol worship, big time. And especially when it's your family. When they get involved in the way of family, like, there's so much blood on the hands of the governing body. I don't think they can recover this one. They can try, but I don't think there's so much blood on their hands. Tier 5, good work. You aren't an apostate. They're the apostates. Absolutely. The governing body, they're the apostates. They're the ones that we got to be careful that we don't take in their spiritual wine that they try to caress us with these broadcasts and listen, and they try to pump this out to us. It's all sales. This is a business. And it's worse than a business because these guys are perpetrating a lie. They're perpetrating a lie. It's worse than a business. These guys are liars and con artists and illusionists. So it's really bad. Here's one to think about. Sherry, thanks for that comment. There's no such thing as a memorial of the death of the Messiah. They were all keeping Passover, and that is what Yeshua said to keep doing. Thank you for that, Sherry. So that's March 24th, is it, Sherry? The way we calculated it from the new moon, 14 days. The new moon is Nisan the 1st. 14 days pulls us to the 24th. So the new moon was March 10th. That's the way we looked at it. Let us know if that's correct. Okay. All that extra time, that's with the honeybees, right? Do you guys get honey out of your bees? You keep them? That's what my wife wanted to get into honeybees. She likes them, but then I got stung by some bees. That wasn't good. Wasps. I got stung by wasps. I think they just bite you. Okay, Blue Rose, I view that the JWs worship the GB. Yes, it's all worship. Okay, Sherry, thank you. The Passover begins in April. It does say April 22nd or something, right? So, Sherry, when would you say Nisan 14 is? Because we don't trust Watchtower no more. And I think out of anybody, you'd have the best idea on that one. Sherry says, what did Sherry say? Oh, there is what it is. Passover is from April 22nd to the 30th this year. So there you go, folks. There's the Passover. Tier 5. After I left the org, I began to celebrate the Passover at home, and I partook with the bread and the wine. Absolutely. Why not? Jesus commanded us to do that, so why would we not? This is such a cult to say that you can't, or to make it questionable that, only the governing body. Like, this is such a cult, folks. Just take the bread and wine. If you're going to be Christian, that's what you do. Now, do you recommend, Sherry, that you make unleavened bread? Keep it as authentic as you can. Let us know in the comments what we should be doing there. Okay, Malorite. Yeah, with Nate. It's so fun. I just do the rescues. My buddy runs the air parade. That's on the bees now. We're getting back to the bees. Yeah, if you were, what do you call it? A apiary? Apiary for the bees. Yeah. Okay, Stefan, the first full moon after the spring equinox. When is that? Any dates? 22nd, Sherry said. And J Archives, I didn't know Santa Claus is part of the God spokesman. Funny. We should be getting the leavened bread products out of the house for 7 days and eat only unleavened bread. Oh, interesting. So there you go, folks. And then what do? Just cook it like a pancake, mix it with flour, and make your own, just without leaven, right? That's what I would envision. That's what I've done. Even buy those unleavened little taco things. They're unleavened bread ones. You can get the bread ones, unleavened bread. I think it's more the act of it, commemorating, not be, you can be really accurate on it all, or you can just have some wine and some bread. We just make pancakes. That's unleavened. And have some pancakes with your wine. It's not that bad. Make the really thin pancakes. They're like flapjacks. They're really good. You can put jelly in them too. Okay, here's what Sherry says. Get some matzo meal mix. Matzo meal mix. There you go. Good advice. Matzo balls. Okay, well, anybody else have any comments? We're going to shut the show down. What should we do? A little dance? I think it's exciting times for those that have come out of the Watchtower to see the desperation that's going on this year. It's just crazy. It's they've even changed. They're changing things that people aren't noticing, like the creative days. They've changed the creative days. If you go on and look at the creative days videos, it's no longer like 7,000 years and 49,000 or so. You know, they put numbers in there back in the old days. Each creative day could be a billions of years, except they don't explain the last creative day. But all those creative days could be billions of years. They even throw that number out on the little video. So it's interesting. They're changing. This religion's changing. You don't have to count time. You can grow a beard. So if you just came into it brand new, it would look like a normal religion almost. Except with all the publicity is really bad out there. That'd be a tough one to beat that, I think. Marty, with the beards, God knows the hairs on their heads now, they definitely calls for a readjustment. That was a good one, Marty. Okay, Sherry, Babylon the Great is falling, sinking like the Titanic, and they won't get off the boat. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? They just seem so comical now watching everything. It does. It's kind of like a comedy show. Well, folks, that's our job. Our job is to bring what's hidden, whatever's hidden, to bring it to light. That's all we're doing. We're just parrots on these channels. It's a lot of fun. You guys are a great audience, and it's fun. It's fun doing this. So we look forward to our next show. That's Wednesday night with Joe and Fran. We're in the background. We don't come on. But Joe and Fran are there. And if you want to come on live, that's a good one. We have room for, I think we can host 11 or 12 people all at once. And you can come in and visit with everyone. So that's 5 p.m. And that goes from 5 till 9. That's a 4-hour show. There's lots of opportunity for everyone to come on. So yeah, so we hope to see everyone on Wednesday. And what else do we want to say? We want to say this: truth equals watchtower equals, it's all the same in their language. So when they say the truth, they mean the watchtower. When they say the watchtower, they mean the truth. When they say Jehovah, they mean the watchtower. They don't really mean the God over the universe. They mean the watchtower. So once you get to know that, it's easy. This is working. Shun no more 2024. I think keep some pressure on. Maybe they'll do some more announcements. The pressure is good, folks. It doesn't eliminate them of their responsibility to the sorries and the damages. There's still, I give the example: if you race your car and you don't get caught and you cause a lot of damages, and then finally there's a day of judgment, and you're going to be responsible for all the lives that have been lost by the reckless driving of that religion. That's what I think. I think we're in those days. Those days of judgment. Okay, folks, we're gonna dance. Let's dance our way out of here. This is the night talk. It's normally my intro, but it's my show, so I can change the rules. It's supposed to say the 2024. I'm getting a lot of stuff on here. It is right here. Okay, folks. We'll see you next time. Keep living your life with love. Bye for now.